For 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II stood as the living symbol of tradition. Perfect posture, impeccable manners, a life so disciplined that every gesture carried meaning. To the world, she was the embodiment of duty, a monarch who followed every rule. But those who were closest to her knew a different truth. Behind the pearls and the crown lived a woman who occasionally broke the rules, not out of rebellion, but out of kindness, instinct, and something even more powerful than protocol: her heart. These are the rare moments when Queen Elizabeth quietly abandoned tradition and showed the world her humanity. Let's begin with a moment so unexpected that even palace staff froze. Number 1. She drove a king through her estate, without security. At Balmoral Castle, the Queen enjoyed one of her greatest freedoms: driving. No license, no learner's permit, and no security detail inside the car. One summer, the King of Saudi Arabia visited. He stepped into the passenger seat, expecting a chauffeured experience. Instead, Queen Elizabeth sat behind the wheel, shifted into gear, and sped down narrow country roads while chatting casually. The Saudi king, unused to women driving at that time, clutched the interior handles as she navigated the winding terrain. She didn't break the rules. She shattered expectations. But this wasn't the only time she stepped outside royal limits. Sometimes she even touched the untouchable. Number 2. She picked up her own luggage and carried it herself. Royal protocol states that the monarch never carries anything, not even a handbag. But during private visits, the Queen was known to gather her bags and walk with them herself. No photographers, no audience. It wasn't about defying tradition, it was her quiet way of feeling normal. And yet her most daring break of protocol wasn't about independence, it was about compassion. Number 3, she hugged a child, when hugging was forbidden. In 1997, after visiting a children's centre, a young girl ran toward her. The Queen didn't hesitate. She bent down and hugged her tightly. This broke one of the firmest rules: no touching the monarch. Touch must be initiated by the royal, not received. But in that moment, tradition didn't matter. The child mattered. And once again, emotion overruled protocol, especially during her most difficult moment. Number 4. She mimicked world leaders, behind their backs. At Balmoral gatherings, she occasionally imitated the walk or speech of certain political figures. Guests roared with laughter. No cameras, no press, pure freedom. For a woman who spent her life being observed, it was her one chance to be unfiltered. And then there was the story that defines her better than any tradition ever could. Number 5. She bowed her head to Princess Diana's coffin. Monarchs do not bow, ever. Others bow to them. But on that September morning, as Diana's coffin passed Buckingham Palace, Queen Elizabeth lowered her head. The world held its breath. She broke every rule of hierarchy and bowed to the woman who once bowed to her. It was the most powerful moment of silence the monarchy had ever seen. But the Queen's rule-breaking wasn't always public. Sometimes it happened at dinner. Number 6. She fed her dogs from the dining table. Protocol states that royal dogs are fed by palace staff, but the Queen adored her corgis. During private dinners, she occasionally slipped food to them under the table. Not caviar or fancy meals, simple cookies or bits of toast. Palace staff turned away politely, pretending not to see. Everyone knew the truth. She was their queen, but they were her world. Yet the Queen's warmth extended beyond animals, even into politics. Number 7. She cracked her composure and laughed uncontrollably. During a military parade in Canada, a swarm of bees interrupted the ceremony. The Queen tried to remain regal, but she burst into laughter. Cameras caught the moment, a genuine, unfiltered laugh from a woman known for restraint. Her private secretary muttered, Protocol is collapsing. It did, and she didn't care. But sometimes the Queen broke rules not for joy, but for dignity. Number 8. She slipped out of the palace to attend church, alone. Occasionally, without telling security, she would leave Buckingham Palace and attend a quiet local church. No photographers, no ceremony. Parishioners often had no idea who she was until the service ended. When security learned what she'd done, protocol officials were furious. She simply replied, "God will take care of me." But breaking tradition wasn't always gentle. Number 9, she refused a dish in front of the host. Royals are taught to accept whatever is served, even if they dislike it. But at a state dinner in Italy, she was offered a plate of garlic-filled pasta. Garlic was banned from royal meals because she hated the smell lingering during conversation. Breaking protocol, she pushed the dish aside and did not touch it. To soften the moment, she smiled and drank water instead. Yet the most unusual rebellion wasn't in public at all. Number 10. She changed a planned speech the night before to protect a grieving nation. After the death of Princess Diana, advisors insisted she maintain the emotional distance of the crown. But the Queen made a decision on her own. She wrote a speech, not as the monarch, but as a grandmother. "What I say to you now, as your Queen and as a grandmother," she began. Those words broke every line of protocol. It was the moment the world forgave her. Sometimes the strongest thing a queen can do is be human. Queen Elizabeth broke protocol not for power, but for people. She bent the rules to show kindness. She ignored tradition to show empathy, and in those rare moments, we saw not the crown, but the woman beneath it. Because tradition may define a monarchy, but humanity defines a queen. If you enjoyed this story, tell us. Which rule-breaking moment surprised you the most? And remember, even the most powerful crown rests on a human heart. To stay connected with royal families around the world, consider subscribing to this channel.